And so your first step in creating this essay is to choose a topic. So after your brainstorming sessions, really think about what you actually want to write about. What reveals the most about you and your personality? What supports your brand or your theme if you decide to go that route, and have like a specific spike? Which essay topic are you the most excited to write about? I mean, that's really the most important thing. If you don't want to write about your essay, why would your AO want to read about it, right? And so here are just a couple examples that our team specifically wrote about. Shuvi wrote about intersex activism, as you saw from her brainstorming session earlier. And I wrote about drum corps and the performing arts. And Nitin wrote about his passion for Rubik's Cube. And clearly all these things might not be interesting to everyone, but if they're interesting to us, then we can figure out a way to make them seem interesting and to show our passion to other people.
And so once you kind of have a topic in mind, just start writing. Just getting this step down is super hard. I feel like it was for me. So some good strategies to utilize is maybe think of writing some bullet point sentences, right? Like main sentences or like topic sentences that you really want to make sure are included in your essay, and then kind of weave them together at the end to create a smooth story. What you can do also is start with an anecdotal opening. So this is when you focus in and hone in on a specific memory or experience, and then you attach a lot of imagery, vivid language to it, and kind of build your essay around that. This is a really good strategy to use if this type of writing comes to you a little easier than maybe like just straightforward writing. And also if you really want to add that humane connection to your essay. What you can also do is have like voice memos or any other voice recording application on your phone or on your laptop, whatever, and kind of speak your essay. Get your ideas out there, because I think what happened with me is when I would start writing my essay, I would just go off tangent. I'd be like, what even was the point? Like, what am I doing? Right. And so for me, if I just have that outline of me just speaking my essay, like I know what the purpose is, what the mission is. So it's really helpful for me to like stay on track. It also helps in ensuring that your voice is there, that you're not imitating anyone else, that your tone is completely true to who you are as a person. And if there's an English class that you took in your high school and you created a small like personal narrative type essay there that you feel you could reuse and repolish and make it into a common personal statement, that would be like a good way to kind of start. In our school, I know we had this class called Honors American Literature, what people called Hamlet for fun. And they had to write like this personal narrative essay at the end of the year. And then a lot of people actually just use that for their Common App essay, obviously after editing it. And also what happens during this time, and what certainly happened with me, is you tend to develop writer's block. I think it's just the pressure of knowing that this essay is that important comes to you. And even if you think you're a wonderful writer, like suddenly you just can't write, like the sentences don't make sense, you don't know how to begin, right? And like that's totally understandable. I totally feel you. But the best way to break through this is by recognizing that at some point you're gonna have to write. So better to get started now, right? So take a break, just distance yourself maybe for 1 or 2 days, and like just do fun things. And then after that, just start writing. It does not matter if your writing is terrible, if it doesn't even make sense, if the content isn't aligning, if the grammar and punctuation is off, just write. So you break through this writer's block and ideas come flowing to you more easily. And you keep writing until you get a cohesive first draft. Now, accomplishing step 3 is extremely difficult because during this time, I think a lot of people, again, there's that anxiety, right? So they start worrying about word count, or they start worrying more specifically about the topic choice. I think midway through every first draft of any essay, especially the Common App essay, people are like, oh wait, like, is this topic interesting? Does it really like, is this really what I want to do? And then they get so overwhelmed that they're like, okay, like I'm just gonna stop and rewrite it, and like another topic. We personally don't think that's very productive, because what happens is that now you're deterring yourself from finishing that one step that first of all really will help your mindset improve, because it's like you got this down, right? Like you wrote one whole college essay. That's a huge accomplishment in itself. Another thing is, worst case scenario, if this essay doesn't turn out to be that good, it is content that you can reuse and recycle in your supplemental essays. And I promise you that those are going to take up a lot of time as well. Like this is just the first step, unfortunately. You're going to write a ton of essays, right? So for this step, initially, just like go with the flow. Write whatever's coming to you. At the end, you can always rewrite, like, and it'll be so much easier once you finish that first draft. And I think it's really hard to stay productive, like for most high schoolers during this time. You have senior year going on, right? Like homecoming, stuff like that. So follow the Pomodoro method or any other method that you believe helps you. The Pomodoro method helped me personally. I'm a procrastinator and I literally get distracted every 2 minutes. I could not even write on my laptop because Netflix would be there and I just like click on Netflix. So I actually wrote on my notepad first and then transferred over. And what helped me is to take a 5-minute break after doing 25 minutes of work, completely focused on that specific task. It's something that you can try as well. Also, make sure that your mental health and your physical health is also up there. This essay should not consume your life. If it is consuming your life, take a step back. You know, it's just an essay at the end of the day. You're going to be fine. So drink water, eat healthy, keep your brain sharp, take walks and exercise, and recognize again, this is the hardest step. There's no point in feeling in beating yourself up over this because everyone will go through this situation.
Yeah, so once you've gotten your first draft done, it's a great time to have other people like friends or family check over your essay topic in your first draft. So these are some of the questions that you can have them ask you or have them basically go through as they read your essay. Like, is the essay topic interesting? Is it engaging? Does it reveal, most importantly, does it reveal key traits about yourself? Does it tell your story? Does it pass the thumb test, like Emily said earlier? Does it really just talk about you even without your name in it? Does a reader like it? Is this the applicant's most interesting story? And also, does it bring emotion out of you? Do you feel touched, or do you feel like maybe happy after essay? Or hopefully you're not feeling like really sad after essay, unless it's meant to be sad, then it's like, okay. And yeah, and it's totally okay if sometimes readers might have like different opinions, or they might have opinions that don't necessarily go along with your own. At the end of the day, it is your essay. It is only your first draft. Don't feel at all like beaten down by negative feedback. This is a great time to just get any sort of constructive criticism. Yeah, and after you get your feedback, once again, remember this is your essay, so people might have different opinions and they might have opinions different from your own. But at the end, even if other people might not completely agree with that, it is still your essay, it is your story, and you can pretty much do what you want with it. And we suggest that on earlier drafts, focus more on like content and the story. So don't worry too much about word count. Don't worry about like flow or like grammar or any of that. Just really, it's kind of a word dump. And a good like thing to keep in mind is when you're writing, just don't think about it as your final draft. Because if you always think about it as your final draft, you're always gonna be trying to like perfect it. But instead, just kind of think about it as a mind dump. Put in all of your ideas. And like Shuvi said, even if you don't like the topic afterwards, just finish it up and you can always recycle it for supplementals or something like that. Because your supplementals, you're gonna have to write a ton, and it's good to have a lot of brainstorm in the beginning. And then later on, once you've kind of gotten the story down, you can focus more on logistics like grammar, flow, word count. Actually, a good way to do your do your flow is to just try reading the essay out loud and make sure that it flows. You can read out loud to another person too. It helps a lot. And just remember again that this first brainstorming part, or like working on your first essay or Common App essay, is the hardest part, and it's going to get a lot easier later on once you've gotten that first draft down, or your first several drafts down.
Yeah, so again, like how we would help approach you, because we know how hard it is as people who've just like really recently done our applications. So you would send us your resume if you would like us to like look at one of your essays, and then based on your extracurriculars, we'll assign you to counselors of primary and secondary, who can be applied to your major / extracurricular interests. And both counselors will look over your essay and will provide written feedback, especially the secondary counselor. And then the primary counselor will schedule a Zoom session with you. And then it's basically just, looking over this feedback and helping you apply it more, and giving you more specific areas to work on / more specific examples. And then this, of course, the secondary counselor can also take a look. And this just helps you get some more outside feedback that's a little bit more objective, because we don't personally know you, so we can help you out on that front. And then also, if you would like to send an essay in for roundtable, more of our team members, we have 10 currently, can edit your essay and look over it. But just keep in mind, at the end of the day, like Ira said, it is your essay, so you can decide how much you want to take our advice. It's just like having a little bit more can help you out if you don't have any yet.
So now that we have the Common App down, another huge application, at least for California kids, and since we're based in the Bay Area, is the UC application, the University of California Schools. And so there are 8 prompts that you choose from, and you write 4 of them. So we're gonna help you tackle those right now.
So there's definitely some strategy in terms of filling out your UC application. It's a little bit different from the Common App. So first of all, do matching. So the Common App prompts are definitely more open, I would say. The UC personal insight questions are a little bit more targeted, especially because the word count is so much less. So make sure that you can take, your tangible experiences and have like real self-reflection that applies to certain prompts. So you can think about that kind of matching first. And then if you've written your Common App or you've written other supplementals and you want to apply them to your UC prompts, that's totally okay. You might need to, make a few adjustments because of the word count, or you think the tone should be a little bit different. But in general, because you have other refined essays, if you've already gone through drafts with that, it would definitely be a good idea to be able to apply that to your application so you don't have to spend a ton of time rewriting things. And then pick questions that you feel you'd be comfortable answering. It's not like one question is more important or valued than the other one. So if you're comfortable answering it, that'll give you the best chance at expressing yourself the best. And then be really smart about your word choice. Again, the personal insight questions have a 350 word limit. So don't go all like Shakespeare and start, putting every single bit of detail there, because you'll just end up using words that you could be using to talk more about a different experience or to self-reflect a little bit more. So please use those 350 words. They're precious, and they go way faster than you think they will. And then 5, again, like we mentioned this earlier on in the Common App portion, but answer the prompt completely, especially because the UC prompts are a little bit more specific. You don't want to bypass that, and you want to make sure that what you're saying actually applies to that certain prompt. A way you can do this is by just giving your essay and having someone read it and not giving them the prompt that you chose. And if they can pretty easily decide which one you chose, then that's a good indicator that you've been clear about it.